there, listeners. Welcome to the Family Podcaster where curiosity meets conversation. Join me as I explore intriguing topics from science to human emotion, inviting enthusiasts to share insights and stories from their perspectives. Whether you're a lifelong learner or a curious soul, welcome aboard as we navigate the landscape of knowledge together. Bengaluru, fondly known as the Silicon Valley of India, is in the midst of a severe water crunch, a crisis that many of us have experienced firsthand. With our bustling streets, soaring skyscrapers, and ever expanding population, the demand for water has grown exponentially, while our sources and infrastructure struggle to keep up. The Bengaluru water crisis is no longer an abstract concept but a stark reality we face daily. The scarcity of water has become a constant companion, testing our resilience, resourcefulness, and our ability to adapt. From erratic supply schedules to long queue at public taps and the reliance on expensive private tankers, we have all felt the strain. Today, we come together to shed light on this pressing issue, to share stories, insights, and explore potential solutions that can help us overcome this crisis and secure a better future for ourselves and the generation to come. But first, let me introduce a very special guest, Pradhyumna C S, joins us today. Pradhyumna is a senior vice president at IDEC with over 24 years of experience. He is an expert in design and engineering water systems, including water supply, drainage treatment plants, and more. He has worked on projects in several countries and provided advice to governments and organizations on infrastructure projects. Pradyumna also played crucial role in Karnataka's Jal Jeevan mission as the team leader, where he helped review designs, secure loans from international institutions, and save costs through effective design reviews. He holds a bachelor's degree in civil engineering and master's degree in environmental engineering from Germany. He is also a recognized chartered engineer by the Engineering Council UK. In this episode, we will be touching upon the overview of Bangalore water crisis, and I am honored to have Pradyumna join us today, bringing his vast knowledge and expertise in water systems. Welcome to the Family Podcaster, Pradyumna. How are you doing?
Hi, hi, I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing great as well.
Yeah, great.
So,
Tell me.
Pradyumna, let's start by understanding the main factors contributing to water scarcity. Could you please provide us with an overview of the current water crisis situation in Bengaluru?
Yeah, on the current water crisis in Bangalore, let us understand a little bit of history and the way the city has grown and where the crisis has begun or how we've done according to this kind of a situation. The first and foremost is, I mean, if you trace back to the history of Bangalore, 1896 was the first time Bangalore ever had a filtered water coming into the city. And at that time, a distributary of Kaveri River, Arkavati, was the source of the water. And Malleshwaram had this crown jewel filters. That was the first filtration plant with 28 mld of water way back in 1896. And today, BWSSP is providing 1440 mld of water. That is 26 times to what it started off. And Arkavati is no more a source of water for Bangalore. So this is about the source. Now we have completely dependent on Kaveri River, which is 90 kilometers away from Mandya. district we try to source the water. This is about the source of water, what we have. And now let us look at the BBMP, Bangalore, Brihat Bangalore Mahanagar Palike. Uh, if you divide the city into three parts, one is the core area of Bangalore, that is around 245 square kilometers, all the old Bangalore, original Bangalore areas. Then you have 8 ULBs surrounding that. That is another 330 square kilometers. Another 110 villages covering those Gram Panchayats covering those ULBs. That will add to another 250 or kilometers, square kilometers. So BBMP has to cater to 800 square kilometers. This is about the area portion of it. Today, I think around 1.3 crores is the population of Bangalore as we speak. Uh, so one is we talked about the source, Kaveri River source. We talked about the area of what is the mandate for BWSB. BWSB was created in 1964, and since then they've been adding capacities, Kaveri stage 1, 2, 3, 4, phase 1, 2, and now Kaveri stage 5 is going on. So traditionally, what has been happening is Bangalore always had almost 400 lakes, and more than anything else, we had proper seasoning also. Unlike the climate change problem what we face today, we used to have proper monsoon. We used to have good rains. I mean, if you take a history of 20, 30 years, we always had that properly. And all these lakes were used as a groundwater recharge. It was going into the ground. People used to put open wells. A lot of open wells used to be there in my core areas and even external areas. Now all that has gone off because we have now I think hardly 80 lakes are there in Bangalore, uh, and a lot of water bodies have gone off. So we've come into this situation because now if you trace back again, go back to 1896, what were people doing before even the filtered water was given by the government? That is that Hesargatta Lake and then Tippagudanhalli, all that was added. Sir Visvesvarayya's time. People used to have depend on open wells. People used to take it through these tanks. All this used to have an excellent recharge of the system, which has been cut off, and problem of urbanization added to this situation, wherein we cut off. There was a lot of interlinking of all these lakes that's got cut off over a period of time, and so lakes got converted into layouts, into bus stands, various other things. So that is where we are today, and this is the main reason.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's actually a very complex issue.
yes,
So
very complex.
now, could you please explain the demand and supply scenario in of water in Bangalore?
Yeah. See, today we are able to, BWSSB is able to cater to the core areas of Bangalore, that is 245 square kilometers, and adjoining 8 ULBs also to an extent. I think around 540 square kilometers, something there we're able to cater to the needs of the people. But it's 110 villages or the Gram Panchayat surrounding the BBMP, that is the periphery of the city, that we are not unable to, the BWSSP is unable to today do it. They have a plan for that. As I told earlier, we have 1440 MLD worth capacity. When I say 1440 MLD, that is a treatment plant capacity available. We have two balancing reservoirs at Mandya, Shiva balancing reservoirs and Natkal balancing reservoirs. So these are the feeding to these plants, which is we have Kaveri stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, adding to 730 MLD. Stage 4, phase 1, phase 2, adding to another 730 MLD. And now stage 5 is under construction, 775 MLD, that is 1 TMC of water. That is under construction. That is basically for these 110 villages surrounding the area. And so demand has always been higher. So if you add that 775, by the time maybe another 2 3 years down the line, then we finish the plant, we would reach around 2,300 MLD of water. So demand is always, if I mean, we intend to give around 150 LPCD. When I say LPCD, liters per capita per day. That means one individual has to get 150 liters per day. That is the kind of supply which we give. Like that, into so much amount of population, or in a household, say 5 member or a 6 member household, we calculate and then we work back. And then of course there will be a lot of system losses in the whole process. So supply is always shorter as compared to demand. This has been the day since the day we began, because 1896 के बाद immediately after 10-20 years they had to add another 10 years, they had to add another 28 MLD. Like that they kept on adding. Then we had stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 coming in. So we've city has always overgrown to the compared to the needs of, and the water needs have always been higher. Demand has always been higher. Supply has always been shorter, and there always been a conjunctive use. A lot of people depend on open wells. A lot of people used to depend on bore wells. So all that used to cater because there was an ecosystem, lake ecosystem. There was a recharging happening. Now we have become a complete concrete jungle. So there's no way for water to percolate down.
Yeah,
Everything dries down. So that is the situation on demand supply.
yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Now, why do you think action wasn't taken sooner to prevent or mitigate the crisis despite warnings about water scarcity in Bengaluru? And what can we do differently in the future? Please tell me more on the depletion of groundwater and its future effects.
See, if you look at any government, I mean, nobody anticipated this kind of a growth in mind. If you look at 30, 40 years back also, nobody anticipated the kind of growth what Bangalore has seen. You can't forecast that. It just blew everybody's mind. All this IT growth came into thing. So rapid urbanization turned out. So all that was unplanned. I would say nobody could plan this. Nobody could foresee a 50 years future what it could be. That is what I would say on the first point of what you said. Second point is groundwater did play a very important role, and thanks to our forefathers, they built a lot of ponds and lakes just to make sure that water is available for people. Uh, and then we started, because of the unplanned growth, a lot of lakes got filled up with sewage water. Nobody was treating the domestic sewage, and then we gradually spoiled it. And more than spoiling that, you have a dry spell. Say, assume that you have a drought for 4 5 years. In between, you have a lot of drought areas, years also. So then the lake gets dried up. The moment lake gets dried up, another 3 4 years down the line, you have a layout coming up there. You have a bus stands coming up there. So probably I would say there was no thought given to how do you make sure that water is consistently available in those lakes, because they were the lung space, or I would say they were the blood of water of the city, because it was doing its dual role, which nobody recognized that role of the lakes and ponds. and and finally we realized today that there is, when we try to dig a bore well, it is 1,000 feet in our own area. 40 feet we used to get water. We've lived for first 20 years with open well in heart of city in Vidyapita area. Today, the NXE site, if somebody is trying to put a borewell, is just 1,200 feet minimum.
Mm.
And moment somebody puts a borewell, the other guys who have got the borewell is lost. That means what? Over a period of time, we have consistently played with the groundwater, and we've not made a recharge happen. So as government tried to insist on solar, if you want a electricity connection, Electricity Regulatory Authority insisted that if you don't put a solar in your new house, you will not be given connection. This is a rule in Bangalore. Similar kind of a thing should have been done for recharging of whatever the roof water and all that, and insisted and monitored, which did not happen. And of course, government, BBMP, and other bodies failed to control the misuse of lakes and pollution of lakes, and I think that has got a direct impact on the city. And even if you look at the temperature across the city, we were always a pleasant climate. The climate has gone haywire because there is no cooling effect has gone. the cooling effect actually was given by these lakes, which it's one of.
But actually, the government had a rule, right, regarding the rainwater conservation. Like we and all the
Yeah.
new buildings had to have the rainwater conservation.
They have, I mean, it's all for the new buildings, but not for the old buildings, not for the old ones, right? Old one जो है वो है, whatever it is there, and nobody does anything on that, right? Unless you demolish and build a new thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that continues, and I think monitoring and insisting is has not been proper, I would say, especially for roof water harvesting, and a lot of road network added up. If you look at the 40 years, as I told you, around Bangalore, you had a lot of greenery also. All these villages, a lot of areas were there. All that has now become complete concrete jungles. So that is added to the problem because there's no way for water to go down. And these lakes were actually good bowls to collect the rainwater and harvest it. That kind of
As we all can see,
yeah.
rapid urbanization has undoubtedly strained water resources in Bengaluru. Do you think this puts pressure on existing water supply systems?
Yeah. See, there is something which we all have to accept and agree is that you can't keep on adding capacities. You can't keep on doing that. So too much of urbanization has led to this problem because people need basic facilities, people need basic amenities to be provided. But as I told, I mean, it is putting a lot of stress. It is always the requirements, the supply, demand requirements are always high as compared to what is being able to supply. And though Bangalore generates a lot of tax, but still you can't keep on investing only on this. You have an entire state also. If you look at from the government perspective, they've been doing, but a lot needs to be done. And of course, we as citizens also have got a lot of role to play. Urbanization, yes, it is certainly is one of the major problems because of which today's water crisis has come.
We all know water pollution is another factor making the situation worse. How does it aggravate the situation?
Yeah, see, on the pollution side, I mean, that is where we are taking care. I mean, if you look at government, they put all these centralized water treatment plants in Tikeheli and made sure that all the contaminants are knocked off before the water enters the city. Of course, we have a lot of system of pipelines. The water gets fed into that. Of course, there is a lot of one is you have a pre-chlorination done at the plant before the water enters, and then you have a post-chlorination, and then you have a rechlorination which happens in all the major reservoirs, which storage reservoirs and service reservoirs, what BWCCP has got. So that is taken care in terms of water. What is being treated and sent. It is they are doing I would say, a great job there, and it's quite cumbersome. Also, it's quite difficult also, but they are trying to do maximum in terms of making sure that the treatment is properly happening before the potable water or drinking water standards is achieved, and then only it is sent out. On the wastewater side, I would say, as I told you, 1400 mld is what we are sending as a water. Easily 80% comes out as wastewater. Now, this also are treated in regular secondary treated sewage treatment plants across the city, which has been set up by BWCCP. But a lot of water can be actually tertiary treated and then put it into these lakes so that we reuse that water, give that tertiary treated water to industries. Such things can always be done so that you also maintain the groundwater recharge happening properly, and then reuse of wastewater is thought it out, and then you have this industries taken care. The industries need not be given regular potable water of Kaveri. They can be given a tertiary treated wastewater, reused water, because again they will certainly process it in there for their requirements. So such things can be done, and mainly now they are trying to do lot of lakes have been trying to remove off the lot of sewage which is entering the lakes have been taken care of. Uh, but a lot needs to be done. As I told you again, uh, we are still short of what is required. Yeah.
Uh, but does people accept drinking recycled like sewage treated water?
See, there is one example, Nada Prabhu Kempegowda layout which is coming up. Has got twin pipelines, wherein we have a 45 mld worth membrane bioreactors established to treat the wastewater. And then there is a reused water which is going for regular potable purposes. And then you have uh, another 15, I don't know the exact capacity. Uh, Regular drinking water is also given in a smaller pipeline size. In this, there are 10 zones, if I remember, 5 zones done by L&T and 5 by Amruta Constructions. 30 MLD is with Amruta and 15 MLD is being set up by L&T. So this is a very good thought what they have done, so that you are reusing the water for all other purposes. You don't have to drink that water. People need to be educated. Singapore has been doing this for decades together now.
Yeah.
They call it as new water. So why can't, when Singapore has been done, why can't this be done here? So it is UV treated, it is chlorine disinfected, it is the best of the technologies. Membrane bioreactors has been membrane bioreactors are ultimate technology, I would say. I worked in a lot of plants in those using those technologies. That is the latest one what is available for you, and they have used those kind of a plants to make sure that the treated water quality is the best. It is not compromised. So that is one example which I would say is being done. My point is, instead of giving it to public in these kind of layouts, put it into these lakes, tertiary treated using MBR or any other high-end technologies. Put that treated water, tertiary treated water, into these nearest lakes, so that that water is always there. Lakes does not get dried up even with a drought condition, and then you recharge the groundwater. Because there are two ways of doing this. I mean, if you look at lake as an ecosystem, there are two scenarios which could happen, or three scenarios. One is a normal scenario where you are getting rainfall and it is getting into there. It's a normal rainfall you have, normal monsoon, and then a lot of water is getting into this lake, and by way it is getting to recharge the ground. That is the best scenario. Now there is a worst scenario which happens wherein you have no monsoon at all, that is drought for 5 6 years. Now what happens in that condition? Water gets dried up. There is no water in the lake. So, but what has been a general phenomenon has been, the moment it is dried up, it is encroached. A lot of people plan a lot of activities there. BDA themselves will plan. Somebody else will plan. Oh, it's all gone. Now you can make a mixed use development. You can do something. So finally, what did we lose? We lose a effective recharge mechanism, groundwater recharge mechanism, because you have no water in the lake. Now, how do you get water into the lake? Is tertiary treat these treated sewage, put that water into this lake. So this is the worst case scenario. Now, what is the other worst case scenario? Ativrishti, anavrishti, we say, right? So what if you have a very high monsoon, very heavy monsoon, and then you have heavy rainfall coming there, and then you also have this tertiary treated water? Then all of them will overflow, right? All the water from the lakes will start overflowing. So then how do you control that? Now you need to plan such an activity that lake, across the lake, at least 10 square kilometers, at least 5 square kilometers around the lake area. You check the levels, where is the low lying area, and then have a proper escape channel for the worst case scenario. That is when you have heavy rainfall and you have a tertiary water. So in this mechanism, what happens is the lakes are protected, and you can regenerate it. You can do a lot of beautification. You can make jogging parks. You can make cycling park. You can do a lot of things, kids area and all, around the periphery. And when we talk about lakes, there are two points of pollution. One is a point source of pollution. That is, a lot of sewage would have been entering the lakes. So you arrest all that, treat it, tertiary treat it, and then put that back to lake. Then you have a non-point sources pollution. That is, you don't know where this pollution is coming, but a lot of runoff will happen. A lot of things will get into that. For that, you can have natural treatment methods like constructed wetlands. You can have soil biotechnology. You can have a lot of other very simple natural-based methods to handle the non-point source pollution. So with this, you will have an effective way of at least making sure that you're not losing out a recharge body. For me, lake is a recharge, groundwater recharge structure, which you're not losing out. And the moment lake is clean and neat and it is maintained well, you can, all these boating activities, lot of activities you can always think of. In Davangere, Kundwad Lake is an excellent example where a lot of people come for the early morning jogs, 4 or 5 kilometer stretch. It's an excellent, cool place to to do. I mean, you can use that in a very effective way rather than the way we are using it. That is the different approach which we need.
That's very wonderful advice indeed. Lastly, let's touch on the limitations of water resources in Bengaluru. What are some key aspects to consider?
Yeah. So when you talk about water resources, Kaveri has got a limited resources. Though all of us know what is a Kaveri water dispute. Now there is a tribunal which is given an allocation. I think we have around 270. Yeah, uh, I think Karnataka gets around 270 TMC of water, and government of Karnataka has given us another 10 TMC of water for Bangalore alone that they've allocated. But beyond the stage, there is always a resource crunch. You can't keep on adding assets. We call it as a forward integration. You can add another 100,000 MLD of water treatment plant. That is not going to get because source is limited. You don't have so much source with you. So that is how we've got that another 1 TMC got added, wherein 775 MLD plant is being built. Now, BWSSB, like around on 10, 15 years back, they they did this because of the resource crunch. What they had, they realized this was beyond the stage cavalry you can't keep on depending on that. I think a lot of people don't know that around 48% is a non-revenue for water. Or that means if I send 1000 MLD of water from River Kaveri, only 500 MLD is built. 500 MLD where it goes, nobody knows. So that was the situation which was happening. So that is a lot of wastage. So a lot of pillages, a lot of wastage, a lot of people who don't pay. You can club both non-revenue and unaccounted for water. So 15 years back, BWC did a very, I would say, commendable job wherein they took up 50,000 connections in Bangalore, and they said, "Boss, let us do a pilot of what is a non-revenue for water, where the water is going. Let us understand." And then they understood that it is easily 48% is lost in this 50,000. You basically make a DMAs, district metered areas. Every 2,000 connections has got valves and metering and all to verify. You do a minimum night flow. You understand what parameters there. Just to understand, one is I'm billing. There is a retail customer. There is a households which is paying. There is a bill happening. So there is a volume coming out of that, and I'm sending a particular volume. So both has to match. Whatever is not matching is a non-revenue, or there is no revenue for that, or it is unaccounted. You don't know how to account that. So that is a very key step which they did. After that, they've taken up, I think, 6 zones. In that 3 zones they've already done, wherein they've tried to arrest this unaccounted for water and non-revenue for water. And I think they've brought it down to 30% level now. But it's 30% is still unaccounted uh, when they're divided into zones or circles as per their divisions. 3 more zones are yet to happen. So I call it as a backward integration. One is you keep on adding assets, 1500 MLD, 2000 MLD, 3000 MLD, and then you lose 1500 MLD in the whole process. Other way of doing it is whatever you're losing, 48% or 50%, whatever you're losing, where it is going, you identify, you arrest the leaks in all the pipelines and piliferages and all that, and recover even 50-60% of that. It's a very good 300, 400 MLD is available in your system. So you have to do a lot of work in the water distribution systems across the areas. So that is what is a commendable job which they've done. I think progressive they're progressively doing. They aim to achieve around 20-23%, 20% at least by maybe 20%. 20% is still a great number. I think Singapore has got around 6-7% of losses. That means 6%. They also don't know where the water goes, where the leakages happen. But that is the greatest example. But Singapore is a very small. I mean, one Jayanagar is Singapore, right? Not a big deal. So for them, it is possible. But imagine a city like Bangalore. It is impossible to look into where all the leakages is happening. So they are doing great in terms of that.
Okay, thank you, Pradhyumna, for sharing your profound knowledge and deep understanding on today's episode. Your perspectives have truly enriched our discussion.
Thank you. Thanks, Pragati. Thanks for giving this opportunity. I mean, a lot needs to be done when it comes to water. I mean, as citizens, we have a great role to play. I'm sure in the following episodes, let us focus more on, for example, if you are buying a flat in Bangalore, what is the question you should ask a flat owner? Just looking at everything is vastu, okay, great. That's not sufficient now. I think people have understood this, especially this water crisis. It's a blessing in disguise where people have tried to open up and understand. Even the biggest of the builders have faltered or defaulted in the way we are, they are managing the water management part of it and the wastewater management part of it. All these big gated communities and other places. So in the next few episodes, let us touch upon what is it that as a citizen you can do. What is it that as a citizen you should ask question? What are the kind of questions you should ask? Whom should you approach, whether it is whatever he's trying to do, to right or wrong? Because I think that is where the real kind of a problem exists today. Because a lot of now one is urbanization. We discussed a while ago. What is urbanization? But on the concluding part of it, if you look, okay, urbanization is now there. People have built flats. Now, how do you manage? That's the situation. So, what is it that you should do to make sure that you are at least not taken for a ride and at least you get water, whatever is being promised? Because I see a lot of 2 crores, 3 crores flats with no water. So that means people did not ask fundamental questions to the builders and they just went about. I think we should address those questions in the coming episode, and then, so that we give some holistic answers.
Yes,
Thank you. Thanks for.
that's actually a very important point you pointed out. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Join us for part two, where we'll explore strengths and weaknesses Bengaluru has over the situation. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep listening. Thanks for being part of this podcast community. Your family podcaster, Pragati Achar, signing off.